Hello friends in the VC. Well, as I promised, I'm going to do the best of reissues. Of course, this is the best of reissues that I have. And the records that I have here, I've had all these records in various forms in the past, and I've compared them to different ones that claim to be the best, and then I found these to sound superior to anything else that I've ever owned. And so it's just a few things, but it's enough that, I can't take a lot of time talking about each one. I've talked about a lot of these records before in different videos, but a subscriber asked me to put them all in one video. So instead of having to go and watch every one to get, this information, there's one video now that folks can go to and find what I found, the records that I've compared that are reissues, ones that I think are better. And of course, I haven't included all the ones that I don't think are better. This is just the best ones. Now, to start off, if you are familiar with this Blue Note, these reissues that they did, they're on the 45 RPM, and of course they're a gatefold with the two record set, and they're really, really good. So if you get a chance, any of these Blue Notes that have been, have been reissued on that 45 RPM series stuff, that's worth picking up. Now, they can get a little pricey, so if you find one for a good price, make sure that you pick it up. Okay, next up is, this is Frank Zappa, Overnight Sensation, and it's recorded in that Palace, Germany on 180 gram vinyl, and it's a gatefold, and very, very good sounding record. And even if you try to find a domestic in this kind of condition, it's very pricey. So, and this sounds better, and it's a better made record. So that's the one to get now. Now we get to the ZZ Top stuff. The Warner Brother reissue, Rhino vinyl. And just what it says on the top here, cut from the original analog master tapes, packaging replicated to the finest detail, pressed with more care than ever at RTI. And I'm telling you, master tapes, they're from the original analog master tapes for audiophile quality. They are. All these ZZ Tops that were reissued there at 180 gram at press at RTI, they are phenomenal sounding. That's the ones to get by far. Then we get to the Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Now, this Crosby, Stills, and Nash and this David Crosby, if only I could remember my name, they were both reissued at about the same time by Classic Records on that 200 gram stuff. And, I had read an article where they were just saying how great they sounded. So, of course, I bought them. And the music is really good, but the sound on it wasn't, I didn't think it was all that great. So I saw these, and these were probably, I think, around $20 a piece. And my goodness gracious, the quality of the packaging, that Rhino, the quality of the packaging, it's probably better than the original ever was. And the sound blows that Classic Records. I read something one time where it says the label that disappoints the best, or something like that. It was saying Classic Records did, because Classic Records has some really, really good records, and then they'll have some other ones that are good, but they disappoint because there's stuff out there that's even better. And this is one of them. And that David Crosby record is another one. Both on the Rhino, and both are the best available. Now, Neil Young has got this ORS stuff, and he's got a lot of it out. He's reissued almost all his records on that. Original recordings, and they're all really, really good. They sound that's the best stuff out there now. I've compared it to the Japanese, first edition Japanese presses and different versions, and these sound really good. They did a really good job there. Don't be afraid to buy that stuff. Now, Acoustic Tech, as I said in a different video, has redone the Yes This Yes LP, And this is by far the best sounding version of this record out there. And Rhino reissued this Yes album here, the Yes album, and they did a fantastic job, really good. And this is a Friday Music of Edgar Winter Group. They only come on at night. Love it. Johnny Winter, again on Friday Music. They did a lot of the early Johnny Winter records, and I bought all of them on this Friday Music reissued them. Really like that too. Okay, now here's one of the classic records that they did a good job on. That's a Who Are You by The Who. Now, here's something. This is on that MCA Heavy Vinyl Series stuff. MCA 180 gram virgin vinyl heavy vinyl. Wow, does this ever sound great. Unbelievable. I had a half-speed mastered or so supposed to be of this. This is much better than that. So this, they did it. If you see any of that MCA heavy vinyl and you say, I like that guy, I'm not sure, buy it. I bet you it'll be fantastic. They did a great job. Muddy Waters Folk Singer on the classic records. Great sounding record again. And then, you know, Rhino redid some of those Van Halens. They're all fantastic. Now here we go. Vanograph Generator has been reissued by a couple of labels. And this one is the Back on Black prog series. And what they've done is it's on now, it came out originally on a single record, and now they've reissued it on a double LP. It's got the same amount of songs on it, but they've remastered it where they've got the groove spread out across a larger area of the record surface. You don't have groove cramming, and you get a lot better sounding record. So it's been remastered really well, and they did a great job of this record. If you get the double LP, not the single LP version, but if you can find the double LP version of those Vandergraaf stuff, that's really good. And the same thing again, Back on Black. This is the double LP version of this Uriah Heep record. Is great. And then MoFi here a few years back did this Alison Krauss in Union Station. They reissued this. This is one of the best sounding records of all time right here. If you want, this is a bluegrass type of music. If you like bluegrass music, if you like this Union Station, and you want to really impress your friends with the way your stereo sounds, buy this. Game over. Okay, this has been reissued. This, of course, the Joshua Tree. It's a big, thick, huge record. Big book comes in it. Sounds wonderful. And I just wanted to, it's not so much this record, but you know, back in the day, this is probably a 25, 30-year-old record here. Back in the day when MoFi was pressing their records in Japan, those records all sounded really good. So those older MoFis, I really like all the old MoFis. They sound really good. Now here we go. One of the best records of all time has been reissued, again by Friday Music, and it sounds wonderful. Now, just a shout out to this Master Sound audiophile pressing. I compared this to a Classic Records 200 gram reissued at 2. This was much better. So this, usually you see that. That's a pretty good sounding record right there. You see that. Ted Nugent. This is reissued by Quality Records and Analog Productions. And you know, when you say that anything that they've done that I've ever come across as Analog Productions, Quality Records pressings, are state of the art. Surpasses anything for now and in the future. And then we've got some of this Simply Vinyl. This is Nirvana Unplugged. I really like this record. They did Simply Vinyl is a good label too to get. They're kind of pricey, but if you can get them for a deal, they're good. Now here's one, Nirvana, and this is by ORG, and it's on some blue translucent vinyl. Now ORG is a really good label. This is a really, really good sounding record right here. I had the original press, and I bought this, and it was so much. This is so much better. Okay, now I got some of these Van Morrison records. This one is a reissue, and I believe it's by Universal. It's really hard to see. But I know these other two, now these are Rhino reissues, these two. And man, that's some of the best sounding records that I have. Universal Music Group, very nice. Tupelo Honey. This is a hard one to find right here. But I know these aren't as hard to find. And they have done, I mean, just phenomenal job. It's better than the originals when the originals came out. This is Rhino, Van Morrison, his band, and the street choir. Van Morrison Moon Dance. Wow. I mean, just the covers are huge, thick. Like I say, better than the originals ever were. And the sound on them is better. It's right from the master tape. It sounds like you're listening to the master tape. That's how great of a job they've done. And the vinyl is super quiet. Just a mind-boggling experience on those records. Again, here's another one of those blow your mind records. They recorded this and done such a great job of it. I don't know if it's digital or whatever. I don't care, because this is, just sounds fantastic, this record right here. Music on vinyl. Of course, I've just reviewed this record. This is the, again, ORG. It's a 2 LP, 45 RPM. And this is one of those records, if you can, they didn't make very many. They only made, I think, 3,500 for the world, or 3,000 for the world. You can get them on Music Direct or Lucid Disc, and pick one up, because it's a real keeper. It's a mind. This is one of them records, you put it on, everybody will think your stereo's worth, you know, 10,000 bucks. Now, 10 years after, this is one of my favorite records, and this was done by Audio Fidelity, and that's a great label. They haven't put out too many records, but this is a limited edition. And this, I used to have the Columbia 2i of this, which sounded fantastic. And this one sounds so much better. Audio Fidelity. And this is the best 10 years after, I think, right here too. I really like that record. It's really, really good. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about this audiophile series stuff. It was pressed in Japan. There's a couple, the Police got a couple, the Supertramp got a few. These are basically, this sound just like the half-speed masters, because that's probably what they are. This audiophile series, if you find any of those records like that, pick them up. They sound great. Now here we go again. This is T for the Tellerman, Cat Stevens, Quality Records, Analog Productions. They have repressed this. They pressed it. The first ones came out. They were limited edition. You know, they only made so many, and they sold out. So they're, I think, available again. They're coming out. This is just a fantastic, better. You know, they made this the best they could, and the sound comes through on it. This is a great record, great sounding record here. Donald Fagen, The Nightfly. Now this one, this is a Warner Brothers reissue, and I was looking at it earlier. It's manufactured in the Netherlands, but it doesn't say it on the outside. It just says Warner Brothers Music Group, Burbank, California. WA International, printed in the USA, just like the original cover, but it's pressed in the Netherlands. And this one, by far, is the best sounding. I've compared it to Japanese and all that, and because, you know, this was originally, I think, a digital, and now they've redone it, and it takes up digital harshness off the record, and it really sounds very good. I really like it. You know, MoFi's reissued these, but here's the one that sounds the best. Again, this Master Sound audiophile pressing. This is Columbia. They did it. They're the ones that originally recorded this. And if you can find these Columbia ones like this, this is a lot better than the new MoFi reissue. A lot better. Okay, now Aqualung, you know, that's been reissued by a lot of different folks, but this Quality Records reissue, that is the one to get. It's by far the most superior pressing of Aqualung you're going to find. And Procol Harum Live, this is on Simply Vinyl, maybe not music on vinyl. They do always do a nice job. I used to have a UK first edition, and this one here, I like it a lot better. Now, Pink Floyd. This is the MCA 100 EMI, pardon me, 180 gram heavy white vinyl. This is the new ones that they came out with, and I believe it's a 2011 Pink Floyd Music EMI, manufactured by Capitol in the United States. And I had a first edition Japanese of this, and I thought this one sounded better to me. So I really like that. But now, of course, this is the best sounding version of this record. This sounded better than the EMI version. Joni Mitchell, Court and Spark on that Rhino vinyl. I had the DCC Direct Compact Classics by Steve Hoffman. This one sounds better. The packaging is better. Everything is better about this record. And this is one of the truly great sounding records, you know, Warner Brother original label, and it sounded fantastic then. And this, pick it up. You can still get this record, and you will absolutely love it. It's a great record. Okay, Love. Rhino reissued this one, and this one is, again, the best Love record and the best sounding version of it, because it's a Rhino. Now I just pulled out, this is a Classic Records 200 gram version of the Led Zeppelin stuff, and we all know that's the best version of that out there right now. That new stuff is no good. Now, Inner Knot is reissued a lot of the King Crimson stuff, and I bought this one, and the Inner Knot, they really did a good job. Inner Knot stuff sounds great. Really like it. Now here's the Kinks. This is being reissued, and Koch Records, 2008. Yeah, that's a really good sounding record. I really like it. Again, Hawkwind, Back on Black. It's a 2 LP set, because again, it was only came out with on one single record. But when they remastered it, they spread the grooves out over 2 complete records, and it sounds so much better. I compared this to a first edition Japanese press, and this sounded better. That's how good of a job they did with this. Now they're a little bit on the pricey side, but all this Hawkwind stuff is really expensive in the first place, so you can get a brand new one. And it's on red vinyl too, which is cool. That's the one to get. Again, this is the best of the Guess Who on the Friday music. Really enjoyed that. And I'm going to cut the tape off right here because we're running out of time. And I've got a few more, so I'll have to have part 2. So bear with me. You know, I am trying to get through this. Be back in a minute.